good? What's good? What's happening, everybody? And Mr. Mike has forgotten to unmute as usual.
I wasn't ready to talk. I was just going to let you go.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
What's up, Mike?
Good evening.
Good evening to you, man. Yeah, it's been a while since you've hung out with me in the studio, so it's nice.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, man. Nice to have you here rather than in the chat for a change, you know. And everybody, just warning you right now. I don't know how long Mr. Mike is going to be with us. I told him, he's gonna do a little. He's gonna ask you guys. He's looking for a little bit of a favor related to New York Comic Con. So we'll bring this up a little bit later. And then after that, I told him, as usual, everybody, he and everybody else is welcome to hang or just take off again. But if he does take off, I certainly would love somebody else to at some point pop in just to have somebody in the studio with me. Given tonight's theme, right, the topic, I just want to put it out there right now. I could be wrong, but I can't imagine, given the uncertainty and the sort of lack of information out there about this topic, I can't imagine that this would be anything more than like a very short episode. But then again, famous last words on this channel, right? So I don't know, but just in case it happens and suddenly it's an hour in and all right, we've kind of said everything we have to say and that's it. And so you're not shocked, you know. But you guys are going wild. You're going wild in the chat, I see. I haven't even popped in yet, and it's already like almost 60 comments. So I'm going to jump in to say hello to you while we wait for some more people to trickle in, as they always do slowly in the first 10, 15 minutes. So let me just jump in and say hello and see who's here, shall we? And okay, TJ, the man TJ's here. Tom, of course. Tom, what's good? What's up? Of course, the Fireflies, Blazing Saddles. Okay, we'll take Canada, but we won't take the Quebecers or Quebec. Javi, what's good? No foosball spoilers. Exactly. Thank you. Please take Kavi's comment to heart and take it seriously. I have not tuned into any football today. I know nothing about any game. I will ban you if you say anything that spoils anything. All right. But yes, please, just no football talk. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true picture, love, and all thy sons command, actually, Tom. But good, I appreciate the effort. That's good. CJ, what's good? And saying hello to Vivian. Did Vivian pop a hello message? I don't know. But you're saying hello to her before she says it to you. I don't think she popped in. Well, maybe she has now, but so yeah, so let's see who else. Of course, Mike saying hello to you as well. Gabe Carino, it's good. Then, I was hoping to get maybe more Canadians popping in tonight and maybe people from other countries outside the United States. It's because this kind of applies to everybody, much more so than Americans. Since you Americans, buy most of your art from within your own borders, so all this tariff shit, it's not really, a big deal to you. It's a deal, but it's not a big deal to you. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see who pops in. G'day, David. What's good? And who else? Well, good evening, Rickster. Hellos back and forth from everyone. B&G, there's a Canadian. There's a fellow Canadian. What's good, my friend? And Peter Rowe, good evening. Tom says, UPS priority has been very slow here. Now have 2 packages. Yeah, well, that's what you've been saying for the last couple of weeks, though, haven't you, Tom? I think you've already said that you've got 2 packages that you can't sort of figure out. Yeah, that's not good. I'm hoping that sort of sorts itself out for you all. So yes. John Brown, as always, good to see you. What's good, John? And who else? Hellos. Hey, Dan Goodwin, back again. What's happening? And of course, Kavi saying hello.
Copy.
And the Rickster says, Ruben, the Midnight Express. I'm not sure why you're saying that, Rick. I really have no clue actually why you're saying that. But I'm glad you did, because I forgot to mention, was it last week or the week before when we talked a little bit about movies? I forgot to mention, I wanted to tell Tom, because I believe Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom had mentioned a few weeks before that when, you guys were suggesting movies to watch. I wanted to tell Tom, I forgot. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe it wasn't you, Tom. I think it was. Who suggested Midnight Express. And I checked it out. I watched it. And it's the, it's funny. I had never seen that. I'd heard of it, but I'd never seen it before. And so for me, even though it's a 1970s movie, of course, I immediately thought of, it reminded me immediately of that weird title always escapes me. The two girlfriends who go to, I think, Thailand, and then one of them gets drugs slipped into her luggage or something, and they get caught, and they're both put into, Thai prison or whatever. You like that one? Yeah, my lovely 16-year-old daughter watched it with me. Probably that was years ago, Arwen. I think I let you watch it when you were like 12 or something. Maybe even 10. Yeah, I don't know. But so maybe not the best dad material here on that one. But Broke Down Palace. It came to me. Broke Down Palace, if anybody remembers that one. Yes, Broke Down Palace. Got what's her face? The British girl who does those science fiction. She's the star. She's the action star of kind of like Vampire Killer. What's her name? What are those movies? She did a series of movies.
Buffy, you mean?
No. From the late 80s, it started. The series of movies started in the late 90s. Sorry, late 90s. And what's her name? Hopefully it'll come to me. Let me see. There's Vivian. Good evening, Vivian. Boom shakalaka laka laka boom. Peter Peter, howdy y'all. Sorry about last night. Okay, Dwayne, thank you. It's okay. It's not your fault. That's not your fault. Well, it's your team's fault, but that's okay. I still say go blue, baby.
Kate Beckinsale.
What's that, Mike?
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale, thank you. Yeah, I figured somebody, I didn't want to skip ahead, so I figured somebody already popped up. Yeah, Kate Beckinsale, and the girl that also had her own show, also back in the late 90s. What's her name?
I'll tell you in a sec. Claire Danes.
Claire Danes, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you.
I got IMDb on the other screen.
Good, thank you. I appreciate that. That's probably a smart thing for me to do whenever movies come up as a topic, Yo. And for anybody tuning in quietly and who never talks, who's watching live, but you're never willing to talk in the chat, and you're wondering why the hell we're just being so nonchalant and not getting to the topic, that's just specifically because a lot of the live viewers kind of trickle in slowly for the first 15 minutes. So, I figure I'd like as many of the regulars to be here before we get into the main topic. But in a couple minutes, I'll do a couple of promos. We'll do a few promos for a few people, a few friends. And and then right after that, we'll get into the main topic of the evening. And g'day. Great to see all of you saying hello. There we go from Kavi, the official one for us. And more hellos back and forth. For too long, Canada has ripped off Americans. Americans should rip off Americans. If only it wasn't so difficult to understand what a trade imbalance means, and a trade deficit. It's just so unfortunate that you have to be genius level intelligence to understand that, right? Oh, God.
Hello, Vivian. Thank you.
There we go. And hello, Vivian. G'day, Peter Rowe. Mickey, whoa! Mickey, you're usually quiet and silent, and you just kind of stay in the background and listen, and you don't even say hello. Today, you're saying hello. That's awesome. What's good, Mickey? And Ruben's hair looks very nice and puffy tonight. Thank you. Why, thank you. That's very nice of you, Tom. I try my best. It's hard. It's hard. Like when I'm, you're losing your hair. It's not much to work with. There's only so much you can do with it. Ruben the Lonely. Not right now because I got Mike with me. Mike with me. If and when he takes off, or when and if he takes off, then I'll be lonely. Lonely. I'm so lonely. That's a great song, by the way. Greetings, Alberto Gonzalez. What's happening? So no downloadable cheat sheet PDF explaining all the info at the end of the lesson. There is none. I did no slides. I did no cheat sheet PDF. No. I mean, I think if you listen, there's only, like I said, there's only a few things that are really going to matter. And like I said, I think ultimately for Americans anyways, it's certainly, I believe it's going to be okay. Good evening. What's good? Caesar. What up, Murdoch? What's happening, man? Good to see you again. Alberto, will there be quizzes? There will be no quizzes. But maybe I can test you, Marcus. I don't know. You're pretty quick on the draw, though, so I have faith in you. You better have said that when I was right after I talked about football. Caesar, hello. Hey, Ian, what's happening? Who was spoiling? I did not spoil. I just gave the result of the first series of the game. Big deal. 3 and out for the Chiefs. That's all I said. That's not spoiling your game. Oh, wait, sorry, I typed that before you said anything. Right. I'm sure. That's sure. Well, it depends. When I have players like Money Moody on the team, then I kind of care. It just depends. Different levels of caring, though. That's all. Football. Yes, sir. Alberto. Ted Rubin's resolve on the football talk. Do not. Has the power shifted in the NFC? I don't know. What do you think? I may just have. Howdy. Hey, why is Ruben watching any football today? Just been busy, busy with other things, on the computer, off the computer. I was reading yesterday, though, late last night, Marcus. I'm trying to catch up on my Transformers reading. So I think I'm up to 18. I finished 18 last night. And so now I've got, I guess, 5 more to go. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, I think it's at. So catching up. That's all I've read. It's all I read this past week. Kenneth Bird. What's good, Kenneth? What's happening? Virginia is for lovers, as we all know. Lee Parmenter. What's up? Lee's got an unboxing video I'll give you guys the link to in a few moments. And the blind bat bag goal. Oh, Jesus, what are you talking about? We'll just get off of that. Power shift it to KFC. There we go. You see, Virginia is for lovers, Kenneth. And haven't found the packages. Yeah. How long has it been though in total since you shipped them? I'm curious. And have you called the USPS or whoever sent them? Have you called? Whoever sent them needs to call to open up a trace. That's what you need to do. So have you done that? That's the important thing. You have to smuggle art into the U.S. now. If only Leprechaun was writing it, everyone will smuggle. The art will have this thing smell. Last week or whatever, a little while back there, you kept referring to the taint. You were obsessed with taint. So maybe that's the smell you're going to smell. I don't know. Midnight Express was a great wrestling team. Yeah, but was it you who told me to watch that movie? That's what I want to know. Hey, Mark's Issues with Archie Comics is back. Hello, back again. What's good, Mark? Hey, good to see you back. Welcome. Where's the football anyway? We've got Spaniard Alcaraz winning the U.S. Oh, the Spaniard won today? Nice. Nice. Good stuff. Turkish art smugglers. Leprechaun. I was so happy for the guy he gets out at the end. Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. That's a good little escape there that he made. He gets the hat. Hopefully the kid gets the hat. Steve says, hey, Alcaraz, as they say in Spain, is an amazing player. He has to be if you won the Open. I think that was Prawn. Scared straight. See, I'm behind, so I'm losing everything. Okay, let me jump over. I'll skip some of this stuff. More about the Freebirds, Underworld. Yeah, I can skip all that stuff. Hey, Philip. Everybody, big hand for Philip. He did a great job. He was wondering with me privately, what kind of show he wanted to kind of appear on. Maybe show and tell, like I usually prefer for the first time. And then he decided to just pop in last week because it was a open live studio situation, and that was awesome to have him and everybody else who was here last week. That was a fun time to have so many people in the studio. So thanks for doing that. Midnight Express led to an obscure joke at Airplane. Oh, man, I haven't seen Airplane in probably since it came out. He asks the kid in the cockpit he's ever been in a Oh, okay. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah, I got to watch that again at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Terminator 3 plays John Connor's wife. Okay. Hey, what's up, Sean? Good to see you as always. Mark, there we go. There's a guy who is not in Thailand, but in Singapore. And I'm not even sure if Claire Danes and Kate Beckinsale were in Thailand in that movie or Singapore. Was it Singapore 20-something years ago? Was it Singapore where they caned that kid? They caned them for the chewing gum?
I thought it was graffiti.
Oh, that came later. That was after. But first, it was some kid who spit out the chewing gum onto the street, because that's illegal there.
Right. No.
And then there was the kid with graffiti. That was a separate incident.
Okay.
Incidents. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was Singapore. Singapore's super clean.
Ryan, what's up? Yeah, exactly. ChatGPT can help. I'm sure people are getting the help. ChatGPT let me down. God, Alberto, you and your 51st crapola talk. You don't understand what the last 20 years it cost a crap ton to ship eBay to Canada. Well, in the last 20 years, it's more likely because of that whole global shipping program, which is, I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. It seems outrageous to me. Lucky Poo Poo, what's good, Michael? Robert Berman, what's up, Artie man? Good to see you. And let me see, shipping to Canada is expensive. Well, it's I don't know. Well, up until recently, it's averaging around $45 for you to ship to me. I don't know if it's gone up a little bit in the last few months. Hi, Jer, what's good, buddy? Feel free to pop in anytime. By the way, everybody can pop in. Anybody. It's a live studio tonight, so feel free to pop in, even if you have anything or not have anything to say about tonight's topic. That's cool, just to kind of keep me company and shoot the breeze in between. You certainly can have opinions, even if you don't really know much about what's going on. So you're all welcome, whoever wants to. Feel free. The link is down in the description. And Kamagar Boston, very interesting topic. I wish you could stay. I always wish you could stay, Cab. But thank you for always dropping in and saying hello to all of us, and for dropping a thumbs up. Appreciate it. And reminds me I need to send a package to Canada for Margaret Lee. Oh yeah, that's right. You're her mule, the art mule. And hey, I had money on the first series of the game. Yeah, but whatever, me revealing it, it still wouldn't change the outcome, I hope you made money on that first series. Indeed, CJ, indeed. And yeah, exactly. Did it hit? No, not even Powerball. Well, Powerball finally, I heard it finally hit for two people. Two people finally won it. So I think it was $1.3 billion. So because they got to split it, they sadly will not be billionaires.
It's going to be tough. Just living on
It's going to be tough. I know, living just on 600 or 700 billion. You know, that's a million. I mean, yeah, I know. Hopefully they survive. You know.
Yeah. If they
yeah, man. That poor Philly Karen. Oh, the poor Philly Karen. Yeah, that was sad. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't feel sorry for her, but like, what's wrong with people? Like, you're a grown woman.
Yeah.
You need to have the baseball. Like, who cares? Go buy yourself one. Like, a little kid got it. Like, I would have a little more understanding if the man was, because the man's also older. If he had done it just for himself, okay, a little bit more understanding, because he ran all the way to her section or whatever. Although that's still free game when foul balls are hit. It's anybody's ball, right? If whoever grabs it, they get to keep it. That's how it is. But for crying out loud, it was obvious it was for the kid. He immediately handed it to his little son, and a grown-ass adult woman had to run over. You stole my ball. That was mine. Like, what? Pathetic, man. People are so pathetic. You won $21, Alberto. How much do those tickets cost, Powerball, anyways? They must be like $20 or something, aren't they?
I have no idea.
Man, if you can win $1 billion plus, I imagine it must be at least $20. Will you be able to continue shipping art? Stanley says. Well, we'll get into that. Good to hear that you are better, Michael. That's good. Good news. Michael wants some money. I won $4 and my dog ate the ticket. Nice. Indeed, Maki, indeed. And you should have put AirTag in the package. Yeah, well, we've talked about that. I will not be buying AirTags for any packages. That's not going to happen. Mall, that's been done. All of that's been done. Okay, good. At least that. And by the way, Tom, in reference to your missing packages, keep in mind, to keep hope, just to give you a little bit of hope, keep in mind that earlier this calendar year in January 7th, in fact, I remember the date, I sent 2 packages that day. Both went missing. For both of them, I waited, I don't know, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks. Then I opened up a trace investigation, and another, I want to say, was it 2 months? Maybe 2 months went by. And they told me, okay, I'm sorry, but yeah, we're going to declare this lost because it's gone or whatever. And I told them, no, don't officially close it. Don't officially close it. I want to give it some more time. Just don't officially close it. And they're like, well, okay. And I want to say maybe another 3 weeks went by, and suddenly I checked the tracking just for the hell of it, and the tracking told me it was literally a day away from me. And then the next day it got delivered. Not a day away from me, from the receivers. Both packages ended up being delivered 1 day apart. They suddenly appeared. So who knows what happens sometimes, So it's even with the post office telling you that they're giving up on it, somehow it can still, if it's in the system, it could still somehow continue on its way, Yeah. So that's why I'm holding out hope for you, Looks like for tonight's math lesson. Glad the kid got the ball from that crazy biatch. Ruben will keep the art safe in his arts for 3 years until Canada is free. Would you quit that? Nobody's going to be a 51st state. Hey, Philip. There you go, correcting himself. Nice. 2 more years, chance of turning a profit, clean city, pick up your own blood, no whistling at girls in the UK. Let's see. Prior to global on my own USDS account. Ilya, wow. Are you correlating collecting art with cane beans? That's not what I'm trying to do. Once we get Rubén rants tonight, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think there's any reason for me to rant. I mean, it's frustrating, but I don't think I want to rant about it. Got a kid tonight with, wow, that's a fever, my friend. That's a fever. So maybe in and out. No worries, Ian, man. You got to do what you got to do. Take care of the kid. For sure. Get that temp down. Keep their heads cool, of course. Keep putting the cold compress or whatever. That helps. But you got to keep doing it, because they're so hot. They warm up the ice or whatever you're using to cool them down, You just got, that's the trick. You got to keep replacing it quickly and just keep it on them. And can your Canadian guy in charge give our president a gold statue so tariffs can be reduced? I was thinking about that. It's like, if he just gives him a gold statue, he might just say, no tariffs for Canada. But I don't have a direct line to the Canadian PM. So Sleepy, that's good. That's good, Ian. That's good. Throwing some younger Canadian. I would never see it. That would maybe be easier to do. We know that would probably go over well. Unfortunately, I would never want to, turn little girls into victims. So I don't feel sorry. Yeah, no kidding. It's so mean. Poor girl's sick. Let's see what else is there. Hope she gets better soon. Wow, $2 only for $1 billion+ dollar.
It doesn't matter what the prize is; the ticket's still the same.
Or $3 for the power play. Said Sonny, what's up, Sonny? I mean, listen, it's not your chance of winning or trillions to one or whatever, but still, that's kind of cheap. I don't know. I thought that for the really really big lotteries where the prizes are humongous. I thought that, tickets go up to like $10-$20, depending on which lottery it is, Mike Asbill, what's good, buddy? Heard publisher clearinghouse lifetime weekly pay for life. Stop paying them. Anyone who wins Powerball, they should get lump sum. Yeah, that's why most people take lump sum anyways. You can never trust if the lottery one day down the line are going to claim some kind of BS about, hey, we're bankrupt, we're shutting down, we can't pay you out anymore. Yeah. Even the money management professionals always, not always, that's not true, not always, but more often than not, I have read them giving advice that you're better off just taking the lump sum, because it's such a huge amount anyways, that even if you just put it in an investment that pays a fixed rate of return, the amount is so large that, when we're talking about hundreds of millions and billions, I mean, just a tiny bit of interest alone, you're going to be making a beautiful salary, multi-million-dollar salary.
Right, a 4% return, right, is going to give you a 6-figure income.
Yeah. Well, think about it. At 4%, it's 40,000 on 1 million, right? So imagine 10 million. Now it's 400,000 a year, right? 100 million. Now you're 4 million a year, right? And these Powerball things are hundreds of millions. So it's like, it's going to go into millions of dollars in interest alone. I mean, that's, definitely better off taking the lump sum for sure, And yes, you could have found it in 2 minutes if there was an air tag inside. Yeah, Tom, he's talking to you. Bye, Cab. Bye. Do take care of yourself. Thank you, Cab. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Cab. See ya.
See ya. We look forward to the day you can hang out with us for the whole show like you once used to. Put an air tag. Okay. Yeah, 2 ladies I know buy those $10 scratchers and win big a lot. Really? Really? Well, funny people go gog over $1 billion, but say, nah, I'm not going to play for 30 million. Yeah, exactly.
That's not even
crazy.
worth it.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste my time for 30 million, That's crazy. That's like human psychology at its finest, right? The S&P 500 average an annual return of approximately 10.4 since 57. Yes, sir. Indeed. Listen, I would personally recommend, putting the vast bulk of it into the stock market, right? There's various ways to do it. Of course, I personally would do that myself. Yes, I'm not. I'm more, I'm not risk averse like some other people that are much more conservative in terms of investing. But I'm just saying, the point being that the worst case scenario is that even the most conservative person who wants a guaranteed rate of return, with those kinds of winnings, you're making millions of dollars just in interest. Yeah. So imagine how much more you're making, over time when you're investing it, in stocks, So yeah. I thought this big check's real when when I was a kid. Yeah, the giant checks they had to present to you. They're not real? What? He just found out. Oh, yeah, please. Thank you, CJ. I appreciate that. Everybody, please, if you're watching right now, can you please write down where I'm pointing, below where I'm pointing here, somewhere? There's a thumbs up icon. I'd appreciate that. No need to subscribe. Don't need to subscribe. That's fine. But just hit a nice thumbs up. It doesn't give me any money. It's simply to encourage me. It's just encouragement. It's nice to see as many thumbs up as possible. Just like it's good to see as many people commenting live in the chat or below the video after, after the show's over. So yeah, you're just lazy, don't want to deal with it. That's why I put it in total stock market fund. No. Well, that's what I'm saying. An ETF or whatever, so you don't have to, keep, especially with that kind of money. You wouldn't be able to sort of handle all the different stocks you'd need to sort of, spread the wealth into, and put it all on black. Yeah. What piece of original art would you buy if you won the lottery? I don't know, but that's not this type of show, Pat. With those types of winnings, you could buy a hell of a lot. Well, you could buy a hell of a lot, but when you think about it, you could probably buy what? You could buy every single thing in the heritage auction for, I don't know, a few years. Every auction for a few years, but then that would be it, because they sell every signature auction is like tens of millions in sales, right? So yeah, I would figure a few years worth, not that many years worth of heritage auctions. You win every single lot in every auction, and your money would be gone. So you think of it that way, that's how quickly you could still spend it. Inflation loss. Well, listen, Stanley, inflation loss. I don't have to remember that. I'm aware of that. I'm just saying. Conservative people, you can talk until the cows come home about, trying to encourage them to put it in equities. They are who they are, and they're just going to put it in their savings account and or fixed income investments. That's just how it is. So I don't know the specifics on numbers, but think that somehow the odds increase in your favor the higher the prize. No, they don't, because there's just that many more people playing. Whether it's true, who knows? No, it's not true. Yeah, there's definitely it's much worse, much worse, because of the sheer amount of people playing. My fiance said she'd buy
tickets sold.
What's that, then, Mike?
It's just the number of tickets sold. Every time somebody buys a ticket, your odds of winning go down.
Right. Exactly. The more tickets that sell, the worse your odds go. Put everything in the auction and shill the hell out. Of course you would. Okay. Everybody, thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate it. There's a good 40 here in the house watching. And to those of you who watch silently and never want to put comments in the chat, we welcome you as well. Even though we would encourage you to occasionally just at least say hello in the chat so we know you're here. We're going to get into the topic in a minute or two. A couple of minutes. Give me a second here. I'm going to pop in a few links to do some promos. Wanted to say, first of all, shout out to my newest subs. Robert Haynes, a Canadian friend of mine. We haven't spoken in years. But Robert, if you're listening, starting next September, when Jeff Singh lives in your city, and his art gathering will happen in your city, hopefully you will finally be able to attend again. and that's when I'll see you again. As of next week, though, everybody, I will be away next weekend at Jeff's get-together. And my friend and I will be racing back on Sunday to be here in time for next week's show. But as I always warn, I warn you again, if anything happens and you don't see me go live 8 o'clock next weekend, 5 o'clock Pacific, obviously, stick around, 10, 15 minutes, whatever, because I think the StreamYard, the schedule of the show, it disappears. I think it shuts itself down automatically if the scheduled show does not start itself within, I think, 10 or 15 minutes. So if that ever happened, just so you guys know, you'll know that something happened along the way. We didn't make it back in time, traffic, whatever. Just a fair warning. All right. So Robert and an anonymous. Mind you, the funny thing is I got those two. I went from 694 to 696, but then the next day I lost one and then I lost another. So I'm back to 694. And I was wondering if it's Robert and the anonymous guy who just decided, you know what? I don't need to put another channel on my subscription list, whatever, and they unsubscribe. There's no way to know that, But anyways.
I knew that name sounded familiar, Robert Haynes. He's got an awesome Sophie Campbell collection.
Oh, I believe, yes.
Yeah. And then some Tara, I thought he had a Tara McPherson full story, but I don't see it. Maybe he took it down. But anyway, yeah. He's got a great collection.
And let me see. So yeah, let me get to the promos, everybody. Here, so I'm going to grab Lee Parmenter, who was in the audience earlier. I think he's still here. So just to let you guys know, Lee has another unboxing, a Superman-themed unboxing, Superman and Superboy. He's got three packages that he unboxed. All right, so I'm going to put that link in here. There you go. And what's up? Rich Cirillo in the house. What's good? And JT's back. What's happening, JT? Hey, everybody's here. That's cool. And hey, Rich. Kavi, Tom. For a warning, are we doing an auction? We'll hang out and away. Thank you, Tom. And Nick can cover for you and show up late too. That's a good one, Ilya. He's good at that, right? We're serenading anonymous guy right now. It's well known to everyone. All right. And now I will also mention that Stingray, he's not here at the moment as far as I know. I don't think Newell popped in tonight, but I will let you guys know that Newell, Mr. Stingray himself, also has an unboxing that he did yesterday. All right, and I will pop the link for that in right here. Okay, let's see if that works. Yes, it's in there. And hello. What's up, Ian? The Southern Cali kid himself. And what's the next one? Here we got Nikki B. So Nikki B, unfortunately, his original art experience show is not scheduled yet. So while I do not have the link to the show because it's not scheduled on his website, I'll just pop in the link to the main page. For anybody who doesn't know it yet, it is youtube.com/@theexp. So there you go. Indeed. Wayshack goodies. And yeah, so there we go with that. And give me a sec here. And of course, Nikki B, you all know, sells art every week, every Friday. Here's the man himself, every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific on the EXP. And so you'll have to tune in this coming Friday at that time to see what he will be showing, because I don't believe he has picked out the art for sale yet. Some good sales were made this past Friday, though. Some good purchases made, as usual, some deals to be had. And let me see now. I believe that's it, except for, you're very welcome, Lee. My pleasure. Murdoch says that the EXP has some good shows. SketchUp is great if you learn watching art being made. There you go. another little plug for one of the different EXP shows. Since I'm only since I'm strictly an original art channel, for anybody wondering, that's the reason. That's the reason I only plug the original art shows. I want to keep it to original art. Otherwise, I'd be here for 3 hours just plugging comic related shows all the time. So I will not be visiting the States soon. If you're talking to me, Stanley, no, I will not. Not to my knowledge, anyways. Again, you know very well. You should know by now. I am in no mood to take a stop off in the United States so that I can then be forced over into El Salvador to some gulag. So it's probably not happening anytime soon. Believe me, I'll let you guys know if it whenever it next happens. I'll let you know. You will know. You'll be the first to know, in fact. And okay, so now let me do this. Well, you know what? So we got two more promos. No, one more promo. But before we do the promo, everybody, I teased a little something earlier in the first couple minutes that Mike was gonna talk about. So I'll hand it over to Mike, and he can let you know what is up for those of you in that New York area or going to the New York Comic Con. Hit it.
All right. So thanks, Ruben.
Yeah.
So I sold a page to an Italian artist, and he wants to pick up the page at the New York Comic Con because he'll be there. So I'm looking for somebody that would be willing to have me ship that page to them, and then they could hand deliver it to the artist. So anybody in the New York area or anybody that's going to the New York Comic Con, if you want to reach out to me, if you'd be willing to do that for me. Of course, I'd grease the wheels a little bit for that handout. So that's it. So you can reach out to me through my website, NSNart, or you can go through my CAF and contact me there, and then we'll work something out.
Oh, what's this? We already have something about it. I'm going Thursday and Sunday, Mike. Easy for me to do if you need.
Sounds perfect, Kavi. I will send you an email, and we'll get this arranged.
Thank you, Kavi. That's
very much.
Very sweet of you, my friend. That's very awesome. Yeah,
and he'll have a booth there, so he'll be easy to find, and you can just hand it off to him.
Oh, that would be awesome. The man for sure. Oh, awesome. And Maki's offering help as well if you need it.
Cool. I'll cut the page in half, and then we'll just.
Grease is the word. Is the word. Is the word. That's another classic. Marcus wants us to know that OAX in unvaxxed Florida in February is the right flu COVID season for the original art collector demographic. Let me tell you, yeah, the insanity of that state, what's happening with what they're doing with it's just atrocious. I just don't understand anybody anymore. The way they've weaponized politics to that extent. They're gonna kill people. Like, it's unbelievable. I don't even want to get into it. Oh, okay. What else? Yes, exactly, Ilya. Exactly. We don't have time for that in tonight's episode. It's a completely different topic, but we did bring it up last week, so check it out. And Kavi's too kind. Well, yes, he is, and so is Maki Poo Poo. Maki has Thursday and Friday tickets. All right. So one of the same days as both he and Kavi will be there Thursday, so that they can see each other there. That's cool. Thanks to both of you. You're safe, Ruben. Everyone is young there. You're not safe from anybody. Anybody can get it. I mean, I've already gotten it twice, and I know people who've gotten it like 5, 6, 7 times. Mind you, those people are the people who never tried to stay away from it in the first place. Well, I did for the first 3 years. I was very careful. So we need cliff notes for Ruben's show. Well, the beauty of it is that you shouldn't have to need cliff notes. I do break my shows up into chapters.
You got chapters.
So that helps you. And I'll be there Saturday and Sunday if anyone wants to meet up at NYCC. There you go. And I can ask ChatGPT. Oh yeah, long COVID is scary. Exactly. That's the thing. I know that for most people, most of us, it sucks. It still sucks no matter what. It doesn't feel good. It's not like getting a cold. It's worse than a cold, right? I hate when people say it's just a cold. It's not. It makes you feel much worse than a cold. But that's the worry. The worry is that if you're one of the unlucky ones, thankfully it's a smaller percentage, but some people are prone that it does something to you, and it sticks. The virus stays in you, and then you have certain symptoms for forever, basically, or at least so far for 5 years. That's scary, like you said, Peter. So, cool, Rich. I'll hit you up. Okay, riled up Ruben. It's entertaining. You know it, baby. You know it. All right. So, guys, also want to do one last thing before we get started. And also, it involves Mike. So I did some promos just now. And look at that, JT, admitting I had brain fog for a long time when I got COVID. That's the point. Exactly. Not everybody gets brain fog, but if you get it, you might be one of those who gets it for a long time, you know? And some people still have symptoms 5 years later. Like, it's not, yeah, it's bad, man. So, well, who would want to, why risk it, That might be a good idea, Maki. I have to admit, I got 4 shots, and then and the last one was probably been at least 2 years, two plus years, I think. Yeah, maybe two to 3. So I also been thinking maybe I should do that, All right, so I'm gonna share the screen here, everybody, and I'm gonna let Mike talk a little bit about something for a couple minutes, just to give him an opportunity to sort of spread the word a bit here. Share screen. Here we go. And bring this. Sorry. Hold on. Bring this in. All right. Go for it, Mike.
All right. So if you follow my CAF or newsletter or anything like that, you probably know I'm doing this print with his name's Joshua, but he goes by the SENESCENSE is his art name, I guess you would call it. He's really a private person, and so he doesn't want his name out there, stuff like that. He's told me about being doxxed, about other things. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is doing a limited print, limited to 100. If you pre-order, and I know this is an original art collecting community, and this is a print, but if you have friends that like prints, the pre-order is $50. If you want him to do a remark, that's an additional $50, and there will only be 100 of these. Get your orders in now. I don't know what else to say. I'm not really good at infomercials. I'm more of a, if you want it, buy it. If you don't, then don't, But
yeah, let me
I don't know. You can see it back here. That's the original. And then, Ruben's going to show what the actual print looks like.
Check it out.
Which, I don't know if he's only got 3 or 4 pieces on CAF. Primarily just me and Matt, Pop Sequentialism. And
Matt Kennedy,
right. He's just incredible. I mean, I definitely, even if you don't want to print, if you're on Instagram, follow him over there. Follow him on YouTube.
Yeah, and Mike,
just incredible.
Mike, let everybody know also, because I'm sure they're wondering, so what's the deal with a nice young girl, and what's up, what's up with the skeletons? Tell a little bit about his background.
Yeah, so he's an educator in anatomy, and definitely I wasn't prepared. I should have had more of his. Yeah, there you go. Show that one. His anatomy is insane.
Outstanding.
He has talked about getting more into possibly painting, which I'm interested in seeing that. But for now, I'll just keep buying his pencil drawings. I love the colors that he uses, like the purples and all that. It's like not really my thing, but when he does it, it just works. I think I've got 5.
Yeah, I love the purple. I love the purples and the blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find they look fantastic.
I've got like 5 or 6 of his so far, and with plans for several more.
Yeah.
But yeah, get a print. They make great Christmas gifts. I'll have you know. And then, so since he is in Australia, once he ships these prints to me, there won't be another chance to get a remark on this print. So.
Oh, he's in Australia. Okay.
Yeah. South Australia. Like he's about as far away as you can get.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic. It's so beautiful. Wow. So good. I mean, all of it, everything. There's nothing about it that isn't beautifully done.
Right. Fantastic. I mean, and it's a small thing, but like I really like the pants that he gave her with the suspenders.
Suspenders, yeah. It's cute.
Instead of just like blue jeans.
Yeah. I love the suspenders and the rolled cuffs at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. The jeans rolled up. It's kind of like 50 style when everybody rolled up the cuff of the pants, you know? But yeah, it's a really cool thing. Everything, like I said, everything about it, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you should probably hit that like button.
Where is it? There we go.
There we go.
There we go. And here we go. Like. SENESCENSE, indeed. Oh, and sorry. How do you pronounce the name of the print?
So I think it's Cicatrix.
Okay, that's what I figured. Cicatrix. That's kind of what
again, I think that so since he is like all into anatomy and all that, he comes up with like, I'm not going to come up with the title, but like cicatrix is like the scarring of your skin after a wound.
Okay.
So like how that correlates to the image, I don't know, but he's a lot smarter than I am. Whatever he says goes, and I'll let it go from there.
That's really nice. Very cool art. There's an example of, is there an example of the remark here? Oh no, it's true. That's true. You don't have an example of what a remark might look like, right?
Right. Once he starts remarking them, then I will post those online. Yeah. I told him that, we need to get examples of what you could expect for that tier.
Philip is asking, are there any concerns about receiving these prints from Australia, given the shipping issues?
Well, I mean, the way I'm very low key. Like, no, I'm not concerned about anything ever. So no, I mean, I'll burn that bridge when we get to it. So,
no, but I guess for a potential client, a potential buyer, I guess what it boils down to is, if you were to get shafted in some way, ultimately somebody who pre-ordered a print, would you still send them the print once you got it, whether you got shafted on tariffs or not? Would you still ship it to the client at the pre-ordered price?
No, yeah. I'm not going to say, I said it was $50, but actually it turns out it's $125. Sorry. No, just, I'm all about verbal contracts and integrity. And this is what I said it's going to be. So I'm looking to get SENESCENSE to ship those to me October 1st. And then I will ship them out by October 31st.
All right. Sounds good.
And and the price displayed is the price you pay. And I'm doing this because I want to get his art out there. This print is not paying my mortgage,
it's not making him
like that.
Not making him rich, guys. That's for sure. I know what it is to make, to do this kind of stuff. It's kind of like more because he loves it. And I can speak for Mike and tell you all, Mike has done, and you guys know of some of the things he's done in the past. He likes to do limited edition type things with art that he really is a fan of. And as you guys may remember, I've got it safely wrapped, so I don't want to unwrap it right now. But he's, you know, Mike, you might remember I bought the $100 bill, you know, known as there you go, the fuck you pay me. Yeah, gold and silver, right? $100 bill. That was really cool. And so Mike, like, you know, Mike's not making it really. Trust me, he ain't paying his rent or anything with this stuff. He does it because he loves it, to bring more attention to the artists whose work he believes deserves more attention by the masses. That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Jerome, what's happening? Wants us to know that cicatrix is the pronunciation. Cicatrix. Yeah. At least when you're talking about a scar. And I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure SENESCENSE obviously must know that, and that's why he picked that name. So
yeah.
Well, mind you, cicatrix, but you could be saying still cicatrix. It could still be cicatrix, but that sounds terrible. I don't think it would be that. So I'm gonna go with cicatrix. Neil, what's good? You've never seen his face before. He's been on my shows many times, but you have not been while he's been here. I guess that's what happened. Justifying no worries. Now the hellos to Jerome and Goodfellas. Okay. Ray Liotta. Love Ray Liotta. Mike is running a straight up BLZ. Okay. I don't know what that is, CJ. Once again, you know, too much with the acronyms. Don't acronym me too much.
I don't know if that's a biz, like it's a capital I. Oh.
What? He's laughing and he's saying, like the way you don't like it sounds. So it is cicatrix? Cicatrix? Oh my God, that's awful. Awful. It's just like, you know what? I guess I shouldn't be surprised after I found out that oh my God, he's confirming it. Cicatrix. Ugh. Yeah, thanks, Mike. Cicatrix, because as a child I was sick of tricks. Switch to Captain Crunch. Nice. Hey, Derek, what's happening? Oh, what the hell? No, I shouldn't be surprised though, you know, Jerome, because when I got tinnitus, I will continue to say tinnitus. I then heard many doctors say tinnitus. Thankfully, I heard at least a couple of doctors say tinnitus. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'll keep saying tinnitus. It's just easier. It comes out easier, tinnitus. But tinnitus, it's hard to say it that way. It doesn't come out
like aluminium.
Aluminium, that some people say, right? Aluminium. Actually, the Brits say aluminium. It's a very British thing. Yeah, aluminium. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I think that's good. Mike, let us know. Are you jetting, hanging? What's the
I'll
deal?
hang for a little bit, but yeah, I got to get some dinner here soon.
Oh, okay.
And I got to cook it. My dog sucks at cooking.
Philip, that would be Mr. Mixes Pitlick. Mr. Mixes Pitlick. So basically, it's kind of like how it sounds, the best that you could pronounce it, you know, given that it has no vowels, you know? So Mixes Pitlick. Mr. Mixes Pitlick. Chuck is almost there. But it's wrong because it doesn't go to the L. There's no L sound after the mix. See, it's mix and then YZ. So that's mixes. Pitlick. Yeah. You say tomato, I say tomato. But yeah, so a reminder, everybody, we're going to get into this topic for tonight to remind everybody: buying and selling internationally, an uncertain future. And Mike needs to go eat, so he can't stay with me. And it would be nice to have somebody to bounce opinions back and forth off of. So anybody who willing and has time to wants to jump in, and I don't mean you got to wait. You don't have to wait till Mike leaves, but the sooner the better. I would love it if one of you could pop in, however long you want, however short you want. It makes it much easier for me to be able to also handle the chat comments while my friends in the studio are giving their 2 cents on the topic. All right. So anybody, and for those of you who would like to consider popping into the studio with me or with us at any point, the link to the studio is just click it right down below in the description of this video. All right. And you don't have to know anything about the topic. I just want somebody to be here to give opinions about the things I'm going to say. That's it. So, Loner Ranger, there you go. You see? Hello from the UK. The Loner Ranger is back again. Yes, we say aluminium correctly. That's right. Hey, listen, in a way, he is right because he lives where English was invented. So that's the home of the English language. So technically, whatever they say should be the way to do it. Aluminum should not be the way to do it. And when you think about it, aluminum doesn't take into account the way it's spelled. Aluminium is exactly how it's spelled.
Right.
So I'm certainly not, surprised. I've never questioned why the Brits pronounce it that way. Thanks for being here, Loner Ranger, as always. Appreciate it. And let's say color with the U. Yeah. You see, a lot of connections between Canadians and the Brits. So just like the Brits, we also in Canada do the U for, things like color, odor. Yeah, a lot of the OR ending words, we put OUR. Yeah. Doing an art dump on calf right now just for me, but happy to join in when I am done. Okay, good. If you join in, I'll still leave you at least 1 or 2 comments. How's about that? And I'll hit like on every single one. Okay. Check it. I remember letter call on Julia Schwartz said that's how it was pronounced. Same with Jaguar. Jaguar? What about Jaguar?
Jaguar.
Some people say Jaguar.
On Rick and Morty.
Really? Okay, I've never watched that show. Okay.
It's good.
Loner Ranger saying hello to you. Look at that.
Hello.
So, okay, everybody, let me get into this. I'm winging this, just so you know. I have no papers, no notes. This is all off the top of my head. So if I kind of go off the track and then circle back around, whatever, you'll understand why. What I wanted to do, Marcus, with his Jaguar, with the U, yep. Yes. What I wanted to do, actually, is, if I may, give me a few minutes or a couple minutes just to start off with a bit of a history lesson, not a history lesson, a bit of an understanding to tell everybody, particularly Canadians and Americans, but of course, those of you watching from any other country, you should pay attention because a lot of the things that I'll bring up tonight, that I'll talk about, it kind of will apply to you in other countries as well. Okay, but primarily I will refer to Canadians and Americans simply because I'm in Canada. Most of the people when I'm selling are in the United States, and most of the people I buy from as a collector are from the United States, right? So it's Canadian, American packages going back and forth between our border, our shared northern border. All right. So I just wanted to say, because a lot of, and this is mainly for Canadians. That's why I was hoping a lot more Canadians would be in here listening, and maybe you guys are, and I just don't know it because you're not letting us know. So let me start by saying this. So historically speaking, and I don't know how many decades it goes back, but many, many decades, when it comes to buying, let's call it importing things into, let's say for Americans, right? Importing into the United States. All right. Or even importing into Canada, right? Every product, I hesitate to say every because it's not every single thing that exists in the world, right? There's too many things. But a lot of things that are traditionally shipped back and forth between borders, they are classified under what is called the HTS system. You don't need to remember this, so don't worry. I won't be quizzing you guys. Okay, that just stands for Harmonized Tax Code. Okay, for short, it means that it's an HS code. Okay, the harmonized system, and all the come on, Mike, you're gonna throw me off. So all these products have an HS code, and what the HS codes are for is to determine whether that particular product is subject to duties. Okay, duties. I guess I probably should have started with something else that I find very important. Let me quickly say this. So duties are a form of taxation, if you will. Tariffs are also a form of taxation. And then you have sales tax, another form of taxation, and income tax, obviously, more taxation, right? So it's all a form of taxation, right? But it's important, and I say this especially for Canadian collectors. A lot of my friends, most of my friends, in fact, Canadian friends, they interchange when they speak and they talk about, oh, so I just got this package come in from the States, and man, they really ding me hard on duties. And I'm like, duties? Are you sure it's duties? Because you're not supposed to get duties, because under the harmonized code system, the code for original artwork is 9701. And if you want to get really specific, it's 9701.10.10.90. Okay, it doesn't matter. Again, don't need to remember that. But 9701, the HS code 9701, that means works of original art. Okay, so it has to be hand drawn. It could be pastels, pencils, but as long as it's completely hand drawn works of art, they are duty free. Okay, so duty is one type of tax. Okay, so remember, there's a difference between duties. They're all a form of tax, but they're still different types of taxation, right? So, and that's why people shouldn't just use the same word to refer to all different types of taxes. Okay, so under this harmonized tax system, both in Canada and the United States, 9701 is the code, the harmonized tax code for original works of art. That means when they go into the United States, you won't get any duties assessed. In Canada, when they come into Canada, our government, our border services do not assess duties. Okay, now, a lot of you Canadian friends of mine, over the years, including myself, for a time, there was many years where I also didn't understand the reasoning. I always got pissed off. A lot of us were always pissed off. We felt jealous because we were like, well, why do the Americans, who we've always had, our two countries have had such a close relationship, close ties with for so long, why are they lucky enough that artwork gets duty-free and Americans also don't pay any taxes when importations come through the border, right? Why do they pay nothing? And then we in Canada, sure, we don't get duties, but we're a heavily sales tax country, and we still have to pay really full sales tax at the border, when it comes through the border, right? And Canadians have always wondered, and why is that? Because it's always seemed to me that works of art is culturally important, right? And I can tell you, in fact, that the reason in terms of duties, not sales tax, but in terms of duties, the reason that original art, HS code 9701, was made with a non-dutiable product, it is for that reason, because they consider it culturally important, right? All artwork is culturally important. And so that's the reason they didn't want to put duties on it, both in Canada and the United States. Okay, but now I do know, and I can educate particularly you Canadian collectors, why do Americans not have to pay taxes at the border, but we get shafted with tons of taxes? And I can tell you, it's not because they're lucky. It's not because Americans are I mean, they're fortunate, but it's not some kind of lucky thing where we're getting shafted. It's just simply that, obviously, we're two different countries, two different tax systems, two different governmental systems. That's what it boils down to. And the way it works is this, in the easiest way possible. The reason Americans don't pay sales tax, and again, this has nothing to do with harmonized tax codes now for duties. This is just state tax, federal tax, whatever, right? So number one, the first reason is the United States does not have a countrywide federal tax like Canada does. Canada has the GST, which is 5% across the country. So no matter where in Canada you live, when we bring artwork into the country, we get no duties assessed, but we do have a minimum of 5% to start with because of the federal GST, goods and services tax, right? Okay. Now, depending on what province you live in, there's, I think, 3 or 4 provinces where they also don't have to pay their provincial sales tax. And so they're lucky enough, they only pay the 5%. So great for them. The rest of Canada, we have to pay our provincial sales tax. And so when combined with the 5% federal tax, most Canadians import artwork, and we are charged anywhere from 13 to 15% tax on it. That's why we're getting nailed, okay? Americans, on the other hand, the reason they get away with not even paying sales tax is because of how their government is structured. And And the bottom line is, when artwork from outside America gets to American customs, right? The reason they don't assess taxes is because the United States Border Patrol Services is a federally regulated entity. It's federal. And as per the Constitution of the United States, the federal government, okay, the Border Patrol, they cannot collect sales tax on behalf of the states, let alone collect the sales tax and distribute it back to the states. Okay, so that's why they don't charge taxes, and so they get no duties, no taxes. That's it. It's a constitutional thing that there's a separation, just like church and state. Federal and state are separate, right? And since the border is federal, they do not assess taxes on behalf of the states. So that's why Americans are lucky. They can import all they want for no extra charge. All right. So that's the reason, for those of you who have wondered all these years. Okay. And we get shafted, of course, and we pay, both taxes. And that's just, that's the way it is. But I will say this. One little caveat. I don't really need to say it, but I'll say it just because it's an interesting little tidbit. Okay. If we're talking about the strict letter of the law, by the strict letter of the law, Americans, even though the Border Patrol, okay, even though CBP cannot assess taxes on their packages at the border, by the letter of the law, Americans are actually supposed to, when they do their taxes every year, their income taxes, they're supposed to declare to the government that they bought those items on importation and they're supposed to then pay the sales tax. But because of the fact that there's really no manpower and never has been any manpower available, to make sure citizens do that, it's one of those things where the American government looks the other way, turn the head, turn the other cheek, whatever you want to call it. So you're by the letter of the law, Americans are supposed to do it, but nobody does it because the government knows they can't police that. So that's it. And that's why they get tax and duty free, and Canadians have to pay all their taxes. Okay, it's just the way the government is set up differently than ours. And so I internet going wonky. There you go. That's why you took off. The geopolitical tax collector. Okay, so this is what I'll do. Because it's hard. I can't while I'm talking, I can't be looking at messages. So after I cover every kind of little topic, I'll jump in real quick. And George St. Pierre expects payment from all Canada. It depends. I mean, what is he? What do you mean? What's he selling? Best way to do, okay. Can you see a chain to a portfolio of art? Can see you chain to a portfolio of art. Technically, Americans often pay sales taxes to their states or use taxes, but it's again, they have to willingly do it, and that's what I was talking about. As I say, it gets shipped to that state. Right. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Exactly. Most people don't, let's be honest though. So Smart Pig Comics says, I brought up TMNT across and the woman at the border was mocking me for paying so much for a comic and laughed and said she put it under children's books. That happens a lot too. Because it depends which officer at the border gets your package. Sometimes they'll put it under the wrong code because they don't really know exactly which one to put it under. So some officers just think, oh, comics are for kids. Okay, children's books, So that's why. Who cares about the letter of the law? Exactly. Medical care says ain't perfect, but if you are part of the lower 80%, it is most cases probably better to live in Canada. Yes. Why are we talking about healthcare though? And that's been said a lot today. Things are more expensive in the States, right? Is it ironic that a president who dedicated his life not paying income taxes is levying sales taxes on? There's a lot of irony to go around for many years now, Mark. Yes. Okay, so that's the reason why Canada pays taxes, not duties. And again, I just want to finalize by, and this goes out to you Canadian collectors, because you guys are the ones always making the mistake. Again, when I started the topic, I started to say, I have friends, like for example, Jeff, right? My friend Jeff and many others. They'll say, oh, I just got this piece. Wow, I got dinged for so many duties. And I'll be like, wow, what do you mean duties? You're not supposed to charge you duties. There's no duties. I go, do you mean just taxes, right? No, duties. And I'm like, but they're not supposed to charge duties. The original art doesn't have any duties, And like, you got to use the right terminology. I get that it's all taxation, but it matters because they may have charged you duties. And if they did, it's a bad mistake and you can get the money back because there's no duties on original artwork. That's why it matters what kind of a taxation you got nailed with. So I keep trying to stress to all you Canadian collectors, please make the effort. When you're talking in basic conversation to other collectors, you're talking about what you got charged at the border when you imported art. Use the proper terminology. If you got duties, make sure you say duties. It's never duties because it's duty-free product. So it can only be taxes, brokerage fees if you got it shipped by a courier instead of the post office. So it might be that or a combination of the both, and then coming up very, very soon, it could be tariffs on top of it, right? So that's why it's very important to know what kind of taxation you're getting nailed with on your importations at the border. Okay. Now, having said that, everybody, a song by, ironically, isn't it ironic? Exactly, Alberto. Sung by a Canadian. Exactly. The duty drinking game would be a doozy. Thank you every time I say nice. Pee-wee's Playhouse, what of the day is duties, the duty episode. Oh man, that's impressive. Okay. So now, what do we know about the current tariff situation? All right. And I guess it's everybody's looking for clarity. I know a lot of you have been wondering, well, what's happening with these tariffs? Because I hear that there's different tariff rates for every different country, which is true. Okay. So here's the thing. Here's what I want you guys to know. So my fear is this: you guys have maybe or maybe not, I don't know how closely you pay attention to the news, right? But as of not this past Friday, 2 days ago, but 9 days ago, the Friday 9 days ago, what we call the de minimis rule, okay, de minimis exemption. Okay, I guess we could call it the de minimis. De minimis is Latin. Okay, yes, the dead language, Latin, not Pig Latin. So de minimis just means basically it's worth too little for us to bother with. Okay, it's too cheap. It's not worth our time to deal with. All right. So for decades, maybe even close to 100 years, I can't remember when this rule came into effect, but it has for all our lifetimes probably been in effect that packages that go, for example, into the United States at a declared value of 800 or lower, okay, there would be no duty. In other words, that's where we make the connection between what I mentioned before, the HS, the harmonized system, right? So the HS code 9701 for original works of art, right, which is a duty-free product, right? So, hold on, just jump back in. Okay. So there are, and God knows, there's millions of products, right? Millions of products out there that they can have a tax number for, or not, sorry, a harmonized tax code number for, an HS code, let's call it, like the 9701 on original art. Now, again, as of 9 days ago, so for many decades, anything that you guys imported, it just passed through and was delivered to you. Okay, because they figured anything 800 or less, again, de minimis means we can't. It's too cheap to be bothered with. They don't have the manpower to pull aside every package and assess tax on something declared to be $20, $50, $100. You know, and so Trump decided he wants to get rid of that rule because he wants tariffs to be applied on everything. So what they've done is they've suspended that rule, but they've said $100 and less, okay, as a gift. Although that's not even 100% sure if it needs to be listed as gift or not. Yeah, a lot of things you'll hear tonight, it's up in the air, okay? A lot of people don't have any clarity because the government doesn't even know what the hell they're doing, right? So as of 9 days ago, it's anything that you import, any product you import is supposed to get dinged with that's above $100, okay? Above $100, based on the declared value, you're supposed to get charged the tariff rate of the country of origin, okay? So when somebody outside the United States that you buy from, when they ship you the product, right, and it gets to the border, right, the customs form is supposed to have a little box saying country of origin. And depending on what country it is written in that box, they're supposed to assess the tariff that Trump imposed on that country. Okay. So as an example, okay, he had imposed 35% tariff on Canada. Okay. So the tariff rate for Canada imposed by the United States government was 35%, is 35%. So technically, this is, as an example, this is what will happen. Okay. This is what's supposed to happen. I'm talking about, you know, so you understand by the letter of the law. Okay, you guys can talk about in the chat all about how everybody's going to try to circumvent the law. I get that. That's neither here nor there. At the moment, you just need to understand how the law works, how everything works by the book, okay? So if you import something, let's say it was $200. Let's say you bought something and it comes into the American border and it states $200, and let's say you bought it from here in Canada where I am. What they are supposed to do at the American border is assess 35% on that $200 declared value, right? So that would be $70. And they would have to notify the receiver who's going to get this package, hey, you owe us $70 in tariffs for having imported this from Canada, okay? So that's how it's supposed to work. All right. And that's how it's supposed to work for every country. Oh, and by the way, country of origin. Don't everybody gets this confused. Country of origin is not where it's shipping from, okay? By the law. It's not where it's shipping from. Where it's shipping from doesn't matter. They want to know where it was manufactured or made. Okay, so for artwork, where was it created? Okay, what country was it created? So again, by the letter of the law, that's how that works. So let me give you another example. If you in America were to buy art from me, and let's say that you bought a page, like one customer buys the page by, let's say, Alex Saviuk, okay, Web of Spider-Man, for instance. You buy a page from me by Alex Saviuk. Because of the fact that country of origin would be America, right? It'd be I would be writing United States because Alex Saviuk, right? He drew that page in the United States. So that is not a Canadian product that you're importing. It's an American product that had been exported and it's just being returned to its country of origin. Okay? So in that case, you, by the letter of the law again, would be exempt. You would have to be exempt from having to pay the tariff, because when the sender, me, would fill out the order on the post office website, right? The country of origin would be written. I would be writing United States, right? So the system should recognize that and know that, oh, okay, country of origin, it's just coming back to us. This is where it came from. No 35% tariffs. It's not a Canadian product. Conversely, if I was to ship you a $200 page of Tom Grummett art, it gets more complicated here, because let's say I was shipping you a commission that Tom penciled and inked, right? I would, by the letter of the law, I would have to write country of origin, Canada. I would then ship it to you, and at the border, they would see country of origin, Canada. It's a Canadian product. We are tariffing Canada at 35% right now. So that's why you guys would be expected to have to pay the 35%. Okay, on the Tom Grummett package. To complicate things further, and because even your government, never mind our government, nobody knows anything. Like, nobody has really thought this all through, obviously, right? Because of that, nobody really knows how it would work if the penciler is Canadian, but the inker is American, right? So the last person who touched that artwork was the inker, and in Tom Grummett's case, usually it's if it's a piece of published art, it would be Carl Kiesel or Doug Hazelwood, whoever. It's usually an American inker, right? And my research, and I knew I couldn't get a solid answer to this, but the best that I could find out is that you would have to kind of state the country of origin is whoever contributed the most of the artwork, And given that in our hobby, we kind of consider, pencilers and inkers, they each do half of the work. Certainly, the border people, border patrol, they're not going to get so deep into the weeds. So it's likely that Canadians would be allowed and able to just say country of origin, American, because, you could pick. It's 50-50. The inker was the last person who touched it, and it got exported from the United States, and now it's just coming back. So I could put country of origin, United States, even on pieces of art by Tom Grummett, right? Okay. So here is the thing. Here is the thing, though. And this is what everybody was worried about, including myself. This is what I was really scared about 9 days ago, when this whole de minimis exemption went away, where you guys are supposed to get charged the Canadian 35% tariff on everything above $100 declaration, right? My question was this, and this is the most important thing, I guess, for me certainly, is do these new tariffs, right? Do these new tariffs supersede the former law that has already been in place in both our countries of the harmonized tax system? In other words, we have both been able to bring original art into our countries from each other, right? And you guys from any country in the world, with no duties being applied, right? And duties are a form of, tariffs, right? So that's the crazy and scary thing is, will the American government continue to accept that original works of art have always been duty-free, and so therefore, because of, original artwork being of cultural importance, will they continue to think that way and say, okay, no tariffs on original art, right? That's the scary thing. Because, of course, with Trump, as you know, he just does whatever he wants, at the drop of a hat. He thinks it, he says it, he does it, and he expects it to happen immediately, right? And that's, of course, what makes things difficult. And that's why so many post office, like 30 plus post offices around the world, have decided recently to not ship anything currently to the United States until they get more clarity into how this is all going to work, So that is the biggest conundrum here, and that's what I think I certainly fear. And let me tell you why I fear it even more. And I apologize, but I'm missing so many comments. But I hope you're having fun. With nobody here to run interference in the studio with me. Yeah, I can't look at the comments. The information tonight for this topic, though, is what's important. So this if this has to be one of those shows, one of those rare episodes where I can't really interact a lot with you guys, then so be it. But here's another catch, if you will. All right, especially for Americans, Canadians, to further complicate things. But I guess it's good news. Good news for Americans, certainly. Okay, because now in Canada, what Trump has done is he has told the Canadian government, and the Canadian government has acquiesced, apparently. He has told them that I want you guys to collect the tariff from the sender in advance. So I want it to be prepaid, right? Because this guarantees him the tariff, right? So I got an email about, 12 days ago. I got an email from Canada Post, right? Our national postal system. And this was 3 days before the de minimis exemption, right? The went away, right? That says everything that's 800 and below was, duty free, and now we want to charge the tariffs on everything that's at least 100 and above, right? 3 days before that new thing went into effect, I got an email stating from Canada Post saying, well, we are working with a third party now called Zonos. And I guess there are many companies that do this. They specialize, typically up until now, they specialize in dealing with large companies who do cross-border shipments of items that require duties to be collected and paid, okay? And so Canada Post is partnering with them. And what they said in the email was, we're going to integrate Zonos' software into our Canada Post website so that those of you who sell and send things across the border into the United States, from now on, once we've got this, software integrated, what you will do is you'll log in like you always do, and you'll fill out the form for the shipping with Canada Post like you always do. And then you'll also have to get a separate account with Zonos, and they will, I guess, you'll go through a little paperwork process with them, and they will tell you how much tariff you owe. Okay? So basically, Trump is expecting Canadian sellers, Canadian businesses, mail order people, to pay the tariffs in advance. So in other words, I would be getting shafted if it's a tariffable product. I would be having to put my credit card with the Zonos company, the third party, and they would charge the 35% tariff on my declaration of my declared value that I'm giving the package. They would charge that to my card. And then it would be up to me to decide as the seller whether I'm going to just jack up my prices by 35%, right? Or decide to just eat it, right? And not charge anything. So that sucks. And I can tell you that when the day of the de minimis exemption went away, and now tariffs are expected on everything going into the United States that it's declared at 100 or above $100, that was 9 days ago. So since 9 days ago until now, the way it works is that supposedly we're supposed to be able to do this whole tariff collection thing online. But when I logged in to the Canada Post website, I saw nothing. I saw nothing that even referred to this third-party tariff collection. So that's part of the problem, is I've got no idea at this point what the hell's going on with that. So if I've got to use that third-party thing, that's great. But when I log in, I don't see it. On the other hand, a friend of mine, a local friend of mine, he's on some message boards for comic book people, right? And he told me this week that a friend of his here in Canada this past week shipped to America a CGC slab comic book, okay? And apparently he somehow was able to use the Zono software. I don't know if he has a Canada Post account or if he did it separately by going to Zonos' website. I don't know. That's the thing. It's supposed to be integrated. I don't see the integration. So anyways, he still was able to use this company's third-party software, right? And comic books, FYI, comic books, because it's printed matter, it kind of falls under the category of printed matter. Printed matter is also, just like original works of art, a product that they have no duties on, okay? So when he put that the country of origin was the United States and also put the HS code for comic books, whatever that number is. I don't know what the number for comic books is. He put that code in. After going through the entire process with this third-party tariff collecting agency, the good news is he was told you owe $0. Okay? So he was told he had 0 tariffs to pay. So great news, because since comic books are a non-dutiable product, and so is art, that at least gives me the confidence that the same thing will happen once Canada Post and the Zonos company, you know, once they get their shit together, and I can figure out how to access the third-party software and use it. Once I start, it's only one example, I know, but once I start putting in my next shipment, and I say, okay, country of origin, United States, or even if it's country of origin, Canada, the fact that original art, it seems like they're still respecting the HS code. The fact that it's always been a non-dutiable product. So far, they're still respecting that. Okay. And that means hopefully, unless they change it, and you guys know anything can happen at any time with your American administration, from day to day, minute to minute, really. So anything can change at any time. Even before the show's over, things could change, right? But right now, as of right now, it looks like, yes, it'll be a hassle, more paperwork to do with a third-party software, but it appears so far that I should be able to ship art and not have to prepay, I should say, tariffs, which means certainly you guys wouldn't have to pay any tariffs. I can also tell you that this example that my friend told me about his friend who shipped out this CGC slab comic book, I just heard from him a few hours ago because I asked for an update. And he said the latest news he has is that the tracking shows it reached the American border and has been sent along and handed over to the USPS for delivery. So it hasn't been delivered yet, but according to the information I have, it is on track to basically, it looks like it will be delivered, and there's no reason to believe that receiver in the United States will be asked to pay anything. So that gives me hope. That's great news. Gives me a lot of hope. And I just hope that that continues that way. Okay. Before I continue, let me pop into the room again, and let me pop it up. God, this is exhausting. Where is it? So here. Okay, let me start here. Like to follow the bouncing ball, everyone. You want to hang out with me in the studio? Click the link in the description. Anybody want to hang out for a while with me? You don't have to know anything about the tariffs. You just hang with me and give your opinion so you can talk a bit while I give me some time to go into the chat. Or just hang because you want to hang. You don't got to stay all night. And you know, it's like I said at the beginning of the show, it shouldn't be much longer because I pretty much covered most of what I wanted to talk about. And I figured most of what's left to talk about is just kind of like opinions back and forth about what you guys may be saying. But yeah, it's just hard for me to catch you guys here in your comments. And now, especially because I got to go back several minutes, I'm not going to remember what you're referring to in certain cases, right? Okay, a lot of the jokes, I can do without the jokes right now. Nobel Peace Prizes, yes. Self-addressed stamped envelope, I don't know. Can it get any more complicated? Hey, trust me, Mike, it could, but let's hope it doesn't, you know? Zonos was here. Many Canadians selling right now if an item costs 2K, they are putting 100 value. Well, here's the other thing. So great. This is what I kind of wanted to do too. I wanted to bounce things off you guys as well. So depending on what things you comment about, I could then kind of give you more information, right? Yes, that is very true, Tom. That is very true. Here's the thing, though. So because of the de minimis rule now changing, and basically it being where, $100 declared and below as a gift, supposedly, is the only thing where they won't apply a tariff, right? Because of that, Border Patrol are not stupid. They know, obviously, they already know that most packages that cross the border, they know already that the vast majority of people declare a much lower, value than what the actual value is, And what I heard in the news, some news reports about this, is they were saying that because of this, they know a lot of people are going to try to game the system. And because of that, they claim those packages that are declared at 100 or less, those packages are now going to be subject to much more scrutiny, if you will. So I guess they will check out more of those packages, open them up, to see what's inside, to see if the value is, if it appears to be, a lot more than what they claim. Right. So that's the thing to kind of concern yourselves with now. But then I say to that, that's all well and dandy, right? But you guys, the way I see it is you guys at CBP, they don't have the manpower, right? They don't have the manpower to suddenly start putting aside all these packages. Think about it. They get like 4 million packages going through the border per day, right? And now, like 99% of them are probably going to be declared at less than $100. So what are you going to do? You're going to, how many of these packages can you afford to stop? You're going to bottleneck the system, and everything's going to pile up. That causes problems all along the delivery chain, and service is really going to get horrendous. You can't really do that. So I don't really know how much they're actually going to be able to investigate, packages at the border, because I just don't think they have the manpower. And again, because of the whole de minimis rule, the whole reason it was put in place to begin with is because what de minimis means, it's too little value for us to bother with. That's the thing. So imagine, before it was $800 and below, right? So they were blowing off packages that were listed at 800, 700, 500, 600. But now pretty much every package is going to be listed at like less than 100. So, you know what I mean? So I just don't see how they're going to be able to really sort of do anything. Because stopping more packages at the border, it's going to create bottlenecks that again, it's going to like snowball all throughout the chain of custody in the delivery system. So there's that, right? But here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that is related to that. Okay. So you guys say, well, yeah, so just declare $100, right? But here's the thing. So remember the example I gave you of this guy I just talked about who shipped a comic book to the United States from Canada, right? One of the things about this third-party software is that they asked for pictures. I'm not kidding. They want you, that's part of what you're filling out online. They want you to upload pictures of what you're selling. So that suddenly is scary. Now, yes, it's very Big Brother. But it's very scary too, because it's kind of like why do you need to see a picture of what's in the package? Like, and then so just for you guys, those of you who think the solution is to illegally, I may add, declare the false value, right? Well, now the problem is you're having to give them a picture. You got to give a picture, and again, there's all kinds of products, but you got a picture now. They got a picture on file. You can't, and that's why they're probably doing it. You can't really say, oh, this expensive tchotchkes that is a very, this very limited edition Labubu, for example, that you can check online very quickly and see it's worth $500, and you're claiming that it's worth 20, right? Because you put a picture of the Labubu, the $500 limited edition Labubu. They could quickly check online and see what this Labubu is worth. And now, if they see it's worth 500 and you've declared 20, now you're in shit. Now you're in big problems. You got big problems. All right. So that's another thing for you guys to be concerned with. So the way that affects me is, here's the thing, is that because you in the United States, because of the fact that you guys have always been fortunate enough that you've never had to pay either duties or sales tax on any of your importations, right? For that reason alone, people from all over the world didn't have a problem declaring a low value because they feel like, well, they don't get charged taxes of any kind anyway. So it's not like I'm robbing, all right? I'm not keeping the American government from collecting taxes, right? Making money off their citizens. I'm not tax avoiding. I'm not helping Americans to tax avoid, right? That's what most sellers around the world were thinking. And so you might ask, well, right, they don't pay taxes anyways in the United States. So why do people all over the world, why not just declare the full value as opposed to a low value? Well, good question. A great question, really. And the reason is because when it does have a lot of value, right? Most shippers are like, that ship, like a lot of people ship from small businesses who are so small, they can't afford to have insurance on their products. Or in all these different countries, you can't really get insurance that really covers you for shipments, right? When it's in transit. And so the fear by sellers all over the world who shipped it to the United States, the fear is that if they declare the full value, right? If it's $500, let's say, right? And instead of declaring 50, they declare 500, the fear is always that some disgruntled employee somewhere along the delivery chain is going to be very tempted by this package to steal it because it's so light, it's so small. I mean, I'm talking in terms of our hobby, right? Original artwork. There's most packages are so light and small, the temptation is going to be there. Imagine if it's thousands of dollars, right? You declare thousands of dollars. So everybody who sends art or comics, let's say, to America, now that's terrifying to write thousands of dollars declared value. Because yes, we know that you're not going to get charged anything for taxes, duties, or tariffs, right? But it's terrifying for the shipper who doesn't, most of us can't afford or can't even get insurance that covers us for cross-border shipping, right? So I've always personally covered everybody, right? But when you do declare a small value, less, right? Obviously, like you guys know, less chance that people along the delivery chain are going to want to steal it. So as a seller, the chances of theft are way, 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 way down, right? And that's the problem. That's the not miscommunication, but it's that lack of between our countries, between every country in the United States. The governments have never gotten their heads together to kind of think about this problem. This is an issue that is very serious. That's like, we get it. We understand you want the proper, you want to have the proper information on the declared for values. I get that for sure. Everybody gets that. But the governments have always, I felt, needed to get their asses, into gear, put their heads together and figure out a way to not shaft, especially, it affects especially smaller businesses, right? Get your heads together and figure out a way that interborder, transactions, you can have sellers who can ship into different countries without, and properly give you the value declarations, but without the fear and the incredibly heightened risk that some of these packages could easily get stolen. That's the problem. That's where the problem has always been, frankly. But yeah, so that's that situation. All right, let me jump back in. And you mean Canadian shippers will be paying U.S. import tariffs indirectly under Zonos? No, directly. We are expected now, if what we're selling and shipping into America is a product that is supposed to have tariffs applied to it, we are expected from now on through the Zonos software to pay the tariff up front. Yes. Yeah, which is why I'm saying this could put me out of business immediately, right? Because the most key important thing about this was, do these tariffs supersede the fact that original art has always been a duty-free product? That's what I haven't known. So far, according to the one example I have of one person shipping a comic book from Canada to America, well, that one example, so far, it appears that their software is respecting the old HS codes that have been in place for decades, and products that up till now have always been duty-free are not getting tariffed. We'll see if that changes, though. Okay, so this is why Rubén doesn't read comments in the bathroom. No, okay, you guys, you're really dutying it up here. So we just listened to Rubén for 2 hours talking about basically something is a non-issue. How about a painting from a British illustrator? His shipping company says he has to pay 10% tariff. Yeah, listen, I'm not going to pretend I've looked into all the rules for every country. I can't. I only looked into other countries on a very, very basic level. Mickey, I've got to concern myself with trying to find as much information as I can for my country, and especially between me and America, because 98% of my shipments have always gone to America, and I would say 98% of what I buy has always been from the United States, So yeah, every country has a different tariff rate. So that's the other thing, But Mickey, one thing to keep in mind here. This is a mess. This is another reason why this is a fucking mess, because the fact that you as an American live in a country where original works of art are non-dutiable, okay, under HS code 9701, that means you should not be paying a tariff, okay? You should not be paying a tariff. But then again, it's hard to know for a fact, because how do I know that the American government didn't maybe talk to the British government and they worked out a deal where they said, well, we're aware that original art has always been tax-free, tax-free, duty-free, but from now on, you'll pay 10%. I don't know. I don't know that, right? I don't know. It could just as easily be that the person in the UK that shipped this to you, maybe they're saying that so that because maybe they plan on at some point starting to charge the buyers in the United States an extra 10% just to make an extra 10%. You know, I don't know. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I'm just trying to get you to see how this is open for abuse in many different ways, right? Different countries have different tariffs rates. Some of them may continue to have artwork as tariff-free. Others may not. I don't know. And so that's where it gets scary. People can abuse it. People in some countries might say, well, I had to pay this much, so I have to pass that cost along to you. And it might be bullshit. It might be a lie, just so they can charge you a little more and make a little more money. Do you see? So that's another problem. There's just not, you know, these things are, nothing from this administration is well thought out. So, of course, this is a mess, right? So I don't know what to tell you about that other than what I just said until there's more clarity, you know? And the Lone Ranger says, given this applies to fine art as well, the wealthy will make sure it stays as is. Probably, my friend. Yeah, this was crazy. Kabi was telling me about this the other day. We were chatting privately about a $5 trading card, and then I have to pay like $20 or something in some kind of duties. But yeah, but that makes sense because of the fact, well, not the amount. The amount makes no sense, to be honest. Because again, whatever the tax rate is, I mean, did it come from China, Kabi? Because maybe they still have 100% tariff, you know. But even still, 100% plus, it wouldn't be 4 times what you paid, right? It's the math doesn't work there. So, I ordered some Labubu from China and I didn't have to pay anything. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly, that's the thing. Another thing that you guys have to keep in mind is that this is such a mess that even Customs and Border Patrol, right? They can only do so much. Even they're not set up to have to handle all these new rules of tariffs. They're not set up. It takes years to set up properly a system whereby they can really handle all this, right? And police it, truly police it. So some of you will get lucky. Some of you will be ordering things from places like China where they're supposed to be tariffing you a lot, and you may still get it delivered to you tariff-free, right? For no other reason than it arrived at the border, and the Border Patrol people are just so fed up and they're just tired and they don't have time to deal with this shit. They're just like, fuck it, no time for this, no time for this. And they just let it go through. They hand it over to the USPS to deliver it to you. So that's the thing, right? A lot of you will get confused and think, no, this product doesn't have tariffs. But it's not that it doesn't have tariff, it's that there's just too much work for CBP to handle. And so you're just going to have a bunch of stuff not getting tariffs assessed to them because they don't have the time to deal with it, you know? So there you go. So many things. Yeah, there's so many little things to have to worry about. It's not a non-issue as there is no clarity. Right. Many countries are currently not shipping to the US. Right. There we go. Jokes are duty-free, says Rick. Claim it as religious. Oh boy. Holy. And then they open it to inspect it and they see Spider-Man swinging, you know. Holy Grail. Take a joke, leave a joke. Pennies. Smart Pay Comic says, I never screwed around with values at the border, scared of losing items. No, I get exactly. Exactly. Erase the price from the back of the art, please. Yes. Well, I mean, that only matters if you're asking them to declare a lower value, right? I bought a piece from Spain. They asked me to pay. Hey, Alberto, are you coming in to jump in with me or not, man? I'm exhausted from nonstop talking. I may just close it out soon anyway. So I might keep this really a short one tonight. Let me just catch up on these comments here, way behind. Piece of Spain, they asked me to pay in 2 payments. What do you mean they asked you? Who asked you to? One for 75 they could use for tariff export purposes, then another one for the rest so they can show it. You see? But now we're live, but we're also recording, right? So everything you confess to is up here forever. That our respective governments and other governments all over the world will be able to access and know that, hey, this guy might be doing this. But in all honesty, it's not like they don't already know. They're aware that, like I said earlier, that the vast majority of people are declaring lower values or whatever, you know. And it didn't really matter a lot up until 9 days ago because they knew that whatever, most stuff crossing the border is worth less than 800 anyways. So it still wouldn't have been, you know, taxed or dutied or whatever, you know. Yeah. So let me see. I meant to stop producing pennies next year. Hey, just like the Canadian government. Well, what will be discussion with shipper or receiver when customs wants to dispute the declared value? Well, when they don't believe your value, Steve, what they do is they ask you for proof of value, proof of purchase. They have the right to do that. So that's what makes it scary as well. If you're not gonna, hey, I don't do that. But if you're gonna declare a lower value, they have the right to then contact you, get in touch with you, and say, show me proof that you sold this to this person for only that much. Show me proof that it's only worth that much. And then it's the onus is on you to prove it. And if you can't satisfy them and what their needs are, they have every right to just seize. They do a seizure on the package, and then they will send that to experts who will determine what the actual value is, and eventually, I don't know, 30 to 90 days later, they'll get back to you and tell you, okay, our independent assessor has assessed it at this value, and so you can either let us give up the product and let us destroy it, or you can pay this penalty. And I don't know, I don't know what penalties are in the United States in these situations. I know in Canada, it's typically 25% of the newly assessed value. So there you go. That's what would happen to you, Steve. Okay, not pennies. Okay, Rick, what will I put my loafers? Okay, very intrusive. Indeed, Lee. Very big brother, like as I said earlier. AI will be used to check pricing of the picks. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's why I'm saying just the fact that they're wanting pictures is already bad enough, right? So it's like really intrusive, definitely. I know Ruben will have to wear pants. Here's a picture. Nice. Yes, not sure what's going on. No, you can say it's la fufu. Either way, there's a lot of ways, many I wouldn't mention, right, but are doable. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that should be, your kind of topic should be done only on a private chat with everybody, not one that's being broadcast. You know what I mean? Oh, man. Kiss my boo-boo and make it better. So just declare your art is phony. Yeah, but then it's not tax exempt. Now you're saying it's phony. It's not original art. It's either a print of the original art, which would be dutiable, or you're saying it's a forgery. They don't exactly look too kindly on forgeries, right? So then they probably destroy it immediately. Canada seems tough on its citizens. Well, again, yeah, when it comes to the whole border issue, but yeah, the United States similar. If you're really trying to screw with them, they'll United States CBP don't mess around either. It's just you don't really realize it, Stanley, because the stuff that you tend to buy has always been not only duty free but tax free as well. So that's the thing. And like I mentioned at the top of the show when I explained why that is, that's just something in your Constitution, right? That separates federal from the states, right? And the Border Patrol is federal, and they don't have the constitutional right to collect sales tax for the states. So that's why you guys don't get assessed taxes at the border, whereas we do get our Border Patrol assessing provincial taxes on us, So that's it. Antoine, what's good? Too bad Americans voted to pay these taxes. Indeed. Someone consider going on live so we can talk about something more fun, but heavy topics the last few weeks. Nobody wants to come in, so that's okay. I'm exhausted from talking, and I got a headache from talking nonstop for 2 hours plus. So I think I'm going to catch up here, and unless somebody has brings up a kind of related topic that I want to sort of talk about, I'll probably just close it out. So technically not. They did not sign up for chaos. They did sign up for chaos and stupidity. If I order anything from Canada, I'm just going to have it sent to Rubén, and I'll just pick it up next time in Montreal. You're free. Feel free to do that. We wanted higher taxes. Bring it on. Right on the package. Please don't steal this. Yeah. The best welcome to steal. Had a choice and we chose this. True. Many friends I've sold to in Canada, I ship to a USA address they have. Right. Usually close to the border. Right. But there's more I can talk about with that. But like I said, you know, if I have to make reference to your ways of cheating the system, you know, and just so the Canadian government knows, I'm not doing that. But obviously, having been selling cross-border for decades, I know what people do and how you can do it. So yeah, Tom, happy to talk privately with you about it. If you ever want to do a private chat, and anybody else who wants to get in on it. And so you'll know what the pros and I'll tell you all the pros and cons of doing that. I'm very well aware of what that idea you just mentioned, by the way. Right on the package, Zonas is watching you. Nice. Security and insurance concerns seem like the perfect argument to work with an art dealer. What do you mean by that? I'd like to know if Zonas is hiring and has a good dental plan. I used to use a border service. I went once at the beginning of this, and the guy was very MAGA and was apologetic last time. Place was a ghost town. Oh, boy. More duty talk. Rubén DaCollector. Rubén just moved down to America for a while until this blows over. You can stay with Kavi, maybe. He's staying already with his folks. And I'm not allowed down there. I'm allowed down there for 6 months, but then I'd have to come back after 6 months. And I have a family. I can't just be going back and forth without my family, you know? Canadians, we don't get green cards handed out to us. There are ways where I could go in and with certain visas. I think they're like $50,000 though. Maybe there's one that's a $25,000 one. I can't remember. I looked at this years ago. But I'd have to do business there, and the whole point is, if they think you're going to create jobs for Americans, then they're more likely to sort of let you do that kind of stuff. Whatever. It might, I'm like a part-time art seller. Like it's, I don't. It's not a big enough business that I could hire anybody, even at minimum wage. So no, I'm not going to be able to go into the United States. Rubén and Jan, what's up, Tricky Trapster? Long time no see. Look at that. Rubén the expat. Rubén still has to get the Perkins art into the US and pay duties on that. Yeah, I don't know. And that's the other thing, folks. Just so you know, I got to ship stuff fairly soon. I hope I can get this Zonos thing figured out, and I hope that when I do, it also tells me, like it told that other guy with the CGC comic, hopefully it does tell me that, you don't have to pay any tariff. But this is the terrifying thing for me. Again, I feel like if I got to give them pictures, then I have to, continue to give them the same, the full value declaration. But yeah, that's just terrifying. Like to think, like, what if it gets stolen, right? I can't cover that, and I might just have to put something on my website where I say, you buy from me, and the risk is on you. Like, having said that, nobody's ever had thousands and thousands of packages I've shipped over the years. None of them have permanently gotten lost. None, not even one. I've got a perfect record. So, the odds are always good. However, it's always scary and dangerous when the declared value is as high as, I do sell pieces that are worth thousands of dollars, right? So it's very scary. So we'll see how that all goes. Exactly, Mickey, exactly. I wonder whether full tariffs are charged on goods imported by Trump. Of course not. Of course not. You know the answer to that, Peter. We used to make some black market connections. The Silk Road. I mean, the Silk Road guy got pardoned. Like tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars in drugs trafficked cross borders through his website. Oh, no, that's okay. You're a criminal, so I pardon you. I'd like to pardon the criminals, What the hell, man? Something, why won't they make a national treasure 3? I love that cage. Why are you talking about that? He's a buddy in the Pacific Northwest. But then you still have issues because it eventually still has to come into Canada, right? That copy. We don't want to be the inspector opening Trump business imports and find something illegal. Well, no, you're just letting them go through. So, so screwed up with tariffs. Inflation is high now. I know what not to vote for in the next election. I bought a 7K page from the States and paid $54 taxes. Interesting. No idea how that works out. I don't know either. Smart pig. That's weird. I don't even know what to say about that. The product from China may already be in the States in some cases. It'll take Ruben an hour to get here, but that 4-time tariff on a $5 card was a joke. But the total did end up around 19 GBP for 2 cards. Yeah. Again, like I said, Cobby, it just like Smart Pig, that doesn't make sense. And that's what I'm saying is people, all this nonsense makes it ripe for abuse by governments, by retailers, who are doing mail order. It's so open for abuse, even governments, they can do what they want because there's no clarity. So, okay, whatever. Let's charge 4 times the value. Like, what the hell? Because that makes no sense. It makes no mathematical sense, for sure. Lots of computer accessories are already here, Marcus. That is true. I know that, Marcus. I know. But, newer stock. They have to keep replenishing. So, Labubu's the duties. No such thing as tariff-free. They just build that into the cost. If you buy from a China business on eBay now, the product is drop shipped from a U.S. location. True, but again, they still have to get the product eventually, right? So I think a lot of the stuff now is the inventory that's been in warehouses for a long time. But, right, so inevitably, a few months from now, the new stuff has to start coming in to replenish the old stuff. And that stuff has to come in, and it's going to have the expensive duties paid, right? If they will hold and confiscate, right? Seizures. Go see National Treasure 3. Okay. Value, especially when it comes to comic book, is high subject. No, it's not, Antoine. It's not. It's very easy for customs to just look up the comic, the exact comic, issue number and title. And yes, they'll get multiple copies and multiple grades, but they don't care. They just want the path of least resistance, which is, okay, we'll take all of these, we'll take an average, that's the value. Okay, this is how much you owe. That might not, and that's not right. That's not the right way to do it. I'm definitely saying it's not the right way to do it, but I'm just telling you, that's what they will do. That's what they already do, right? And then it's up to you to now deal with that mess. So that's the problem. They can do what they want. And now you got a mess to deal with, whether you're the shipper or the receiver, Pawn Stars, prices going up with every new owner. Shipping. Why shipping prices, though? I mean, the cost of everything has been going up, especially food and rent and, house prices. But shipping has gone up, and it goes up every year pretty much anyways, a little bit more every year. I don't know how this tariff really has affected the prices. I didn't notice myself with my last few packages I sent that were previous to 9 days ago. So yeah, I don't notice any change. Now, one of the shipment is declared as a gift, which is generally could. Well, like I said, if it's Americans, if it's you, Steve, if it's you sending to an American, right? That's what the new law is, that if it's a gift and it's valued at 100 or below, right? They are supposed to let that pass through, no problem, no tariff, nothing. But they claim that because they know a lot of people will be declaring a gift and less than $100, they claim they're going to look at those packages a lot more closely. I don't know how much more closely they're going to be able to, because they really don't have the manpower to do it. But I'm just telling you what they claim. And that's what should happen, is it should still pass through if it's worth less than 100 declared, right? I just pictured Donald Trump watching Rubin's show with us talking about workarounds for tariffs. Oh, that'd be awesome. Recreations are forgeries? I mean, amateurs who know nothing, well, you can expect them to think of it that way, right? Dutiable. Nah, these guys love duties. They love duties. They love all sorts of things related to duty, spelled that way, that kind of duty. This is the duty episode. Super headache. What can I tell you? It's important to know this stuff, though. You want to talk football? We will not talk football unless someone triggers them. Do a lighter topic next week. Next week, everybody. We are. We're doing the. I'll be doing like I did 10 weeks ago, where we'll just review the signature auction, the heritage signature auction. So that's what I'm doing next week. And that's just like 10 weeks ago. I'm not planning on inviting anybody as my co-host, which may be a mistake, because that'll be hard to do just by myself. But 10 weeks ago when I did it, I did it as a live studio. Anybody can pop in, and then Newell, Alberto popped in on that one, and he stayed with us for 5 hours. And so that was great. And Newell and Peter also had popped in for a long time. Hopefully somebody pops in. You should pop in and hang, at least for a little while, Tom. Come on. Look what Philip did. Philip popped in. He had never done any kind of show. And he said, it's a live studio. Let me just pop in like that. Why not? And it went perfectly well. So you should do that. Ship it to the Tulio. Buffalo is close enough to Canada. Again, that doesn't help. Eventually, it still needs to enter the country. Ruben hates America. Terrible, terrible. Just pay your $5 million to get your gold card. That's true. I was thinking about dishing out for that. I'm thinking about it, Marcus. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting the Trump card, for the gold Trump card for $5 million. I'll think about it. Still thinking on it. Well, they confiscate strips to inside front cover. I think so, because of the nature of what it is. They'll confiscate it as me trying to peddle in porn. That's what that would. And I'm not joking. It's very dangerous to ship that type of material across borders. Very dangerous. Zonos thing seems like a way of circumventing the court's ruling on the tariffs being illegal. Don't forget though, Smart Pig. It's lower courts, first of all. That's the lower courts. And as we both know, and Maki Pupu said, last week, don't worry though, most legal scholars, they know that the tariffs are illegal. But we're living in Trump's world now. This is Trump's world. You guys know that. Things that used to be illegal are no longer legal. Things that used to be legal are now illegal. Like, it's crazy, right? So I have no more faith in the Supreme Court. In fact, I fully expect I fully expect when the Supreme Court takes it up, they're going to rule in its favor. So that's it. So having us pay them voluntarily, like a way of circumventing tariffs being illegal, having us pay all that. Yeah, I mean, remember though what I said. I don't know if you were here earlier for it, but certainly from Canada, the way he wants to force Canadians to do it, right? He wants to get his 35% from Canadians is by forcing us to get into this third-party Zonos thing, right? So that we, as the sellers, are forced to pay in advance, right? That way, we're stuck with the problem of like, oh, do I raise my prices to cover it, right? Or do I just swallow it or go out of business, you know? Yeah. So, but this way, any product that comes from Canada to America, the taxes, you know, the tariffs are already paid when it gets to your border. That's what he wants. He wants to know that the package already says it's going to have a tariff number, and that number is what tells the CBP, oh, tariffs were already paid up front, you know, and that way they can quickly pass it along to the USPS for delivery. Yeah, so maybe just lower the price on all your art. Yeah, right. Start selling everything for 100 or less. Exactly. Take it for 100. Alex. Tariffing. Yeah. Pardon me, do you have any duty-free art? Oh, geez. Silk Road guy paid up fair and square for the pardon. Oh, yes. Of course, reimbursement for theft doesn't make the art buyer happy. It normally just makes the pain less. If they wanted money, they would have not bought art. Yeah. I'm sure they have years of inventory in warehouses. I don't know if they have. I don't believe that. I don't know. All right, but my gut feeling is electronics is a business that sells fast enough. It's a volume business. I think it sells fast enough that they don't bring in years worth. Not only that, but the technology is constantly changing. So nobody wants to have years worth of product for a product that may be obsolete, right? When the newest, better one comes out. So I don't believe that. I don't believe they have. I believe a few months worth or several months worth, but I don't think it would be years worth. That would be crazy. Plus, retail businesses, that's how they die. They don't stay in business. The number one killer of retail businesses is too much inventory. You're letting your inventory get out of control. So not years worth. Talking about comic books, I was talking about original art. Right. But I'm just saying comic books and original art both for decades have been a duty-free product. That's all I'm saying. So they're comparable that way because they've both been a duty-free product. All of this will be sorted out soon. I hope so, but I remember, Tom, the apparently the Supreme Court, right? They're not supposed to take it up until mid-October, right? And until that happens, the tariffs are still in effect. So that's another problem, you know? Scott. What's Scott? I didn't see Scott. Who? Oh, yes. What's up, Scotty Brown? What's happening, man? Been a long time that you haven't popped in here. Good to see you. And yeah, healthcare. Yeah, you know, thank God he sorted out with his brand new healthcare plan 8-9 years ago, I think, 10 years ago. See our props from the UK and Canada, movie products subject to duties. I definitely don't know. I only look up and research stuff that I'm into. Anything else doesn't affect me, so I don't know. I can help next Sunday possibly. Today just wasn't able. No worries, Coffee. No worries. That would be fun. Hey, by the way, everybody, for those of you who remember watching that show, it was very lively. It was a lot of fun. And I don't know why everybody thought it was that fun, but it's one of my most watched shows ever. And for some reason, even though most of my shows, the views die out once the new show comes out the week later, it slowly but surely keeps getting views. And it just this week crossed the 900 view mark. I think only 2 or 3 of my videos have 900 views or more. So that's pretty wild. So I don't know, whatever. Everybody seems to like to look at reviewing the heritage auctions, and maybe it's a lot more fun to review heritage auctions when doing it on my channel, like in my style, you know, when it's very interactive, and the fact that I show art of all different values, not just super high end. So maybe that's what made people watch it a lot more. I have no way of knowing because nobody nobody who doesn't normally watch my shows ever reached out to sort of tell me, hey, I really like this show, so I don't know. But yeah, man, let me know throughout the week. Let me know before Thursday, by Thursday, because I'll be by Friday morning at 7 a.m. I'm no longer here. I'm on the road to the Greater Toronto area to meet up with this guy, Eric. What's happening? And I'm so sorry. I have to apologize for obvious reasons. I owe Eric a reply to his email from 2 weeks ago. Still haven't gotten to it. But I'm going to see him this coming Saturday. So that'll be fun. Great. That'll be fun. And looking forward to seeing you, of course. And of course, you missed 2 hours. At that point, 2 hours and 23 minutes worth of stuff. Lots of duties. Process of buying something. I have no doubt, guys, that I will probably be speaking about this a lot this coming Saturday. Maybe not, though. Who knows? I hope not. I'm so tired of talking about this, but it is important. Oh, dear Lord. Trump in English slang means to fart. I believe you, Lone Ranger. Almost caught up with the chat. Come on, folks. Need to chat more. Do not chat more. I'm exhausted. Oh, my God. Woof. Compson, what's up? A good, hearty, tired hello to you. Duties make me sleepy. Duty. A lot of people joining the chat now since they figure Ruben's show is usually only halfway done. I know, exactly. I'm wanting to wind it down. Ruben, you should have me on your show as part of your DEI initiative. Says the black man. Hey, you know what, Antoine? You never saw it because you'd only started coming around to my show much later, I believe. But I once had a friend, Ronald Shepard. We call him Ron, and he popped into the chat last week. Actually, we hadn't seen him in forever. And he never gave me permission to do this, but I forgot to do it last week. I don't think he would mind. The topic of John Lewis came up. Sorry to quickly segue, guys, but this is Ron. Look at that. Ron Shepard with the amazing and late departed John Lewis. Very, very cool. So I just wanted to post that up there for Ron, even though Ron's not going to see this. Yeah. So DEI initiative, so far he's the only African-American I think that I've had on the show. Not for not wanting, but this hobby seems to be, if I may say, very white. Okay. And not only that, I've also noticed, and by the way, I brought it up when Ron was my guest and we did a show and tell together. I also brought up the fact, I believe, on that show, or maybe it might have been another one of my episodes where I was asking, hey, do you guys ever think of this? Like, have you guys ever noticed there aren't many black people in comics in general? I certainly felt like I've noticed that where I live, throughout my life. I don't know. But Antoine, you're always welcome to pop in. And Antoine, by the way, I have so many shows where I've taken to doing a live studio type show, right? Where you can pop in at any time, whoever wants to. You don't need an invitation. You should pop into one of these types of shows, and then we can finally help me prove that I'm very supportive of DEI initiatives. Not that DEI means that it's about hiring black people, but yeah, I don't want to get out into the weeds on that. If anybody's intelligent enough to go and read a little bit, you'll know what the whole DEI law is about. And what's happening with it is a shame, very, very, very shameful to the whole world, not just to America. And yeah, it's whatever. Yeah, thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. Yeah, shocking. It's not the show that I ever would have thought would get 900 views. Yeah. Again, I still don't even have 700 subscribers. So pretty amazing. I'm not going to play with your jokes. It's nice to critique the art that I could never own. Well, that's good. That's a good thing. Yeah, I mean, that kind of falls under the auspices of you like to be able to say things and we can interact together, right? So you don't have to just watch my show and listen to what me and whoever's with me is saying, you know that I will give you your own time and your comments, you know? Thanks, Eric. I appreciate it, bro. I can't wait to see you. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yes, Compton in the house. Ruben be buying at the meetup. I don't think so. I only did that one time. You know, my gallery, I have that unpublished Dale Keown Hulk splash from 369, Hulk 369. That one I bought from my friend Peter Fisico, who's also on CAF. And I did buy it while, you know, I was looking through his portfolio at Jeff's house, I don't know, 8 years ago or something, or whenever that was. But usually people don't go there to do deals. You know, some people occasionally, you know, they do arrange deals, but it's mostly very, very much about just showing each other, you know, portfolios and just sharing the art, you know, looking at each other's collections. That's which is a good thing, I think, you know, but it's not like it's off the table, like you're not allowed dealing. But, you know, understandably, I and Jeff certainly, he doesn't want it to become something that becomes all about the wheeling and dealing, you know? So, yeah, Ron's too busy with his perfume business these days. I hope it's smelling of success. Exactly. I hope so. Joe, I'm not crying for representation. I know you're not, but I'm not joking in the sense of I would be happy to have you pop in at some point, dude. Come on, man. Don't be shy. You're welcome, just like everybody else, you know. And not because you're a black man. I promise. That's funny. Get Big Phil. Big Phil. Remind me who Big Phil is. Dennis Cowan. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the last time I privately messaged him, I sent him a kind of a long message to explain kind of how my shows all work, and then I never heard back from him. But I got to figure out something to do with Dennis that isn't, you know, the usual. I don't want to interview him. Like, I don't want to interview him and talk to him about his career. Like, you know, you could find plenty of interviews like that. I have no interest in doing that. So I would want him to come on, like I told you guys last time, under the context of something more related to talking about original art, maybe his history with selling original art, you know, things like that, whatever. But I just don't know. I got to figure something out that would be, yeah, more interesting and unique kind of thing, you know. Drop the chat at the next show. Otherwise, Ruben will be put pressure on me. Don't worry, Peter. Don't worry. I'll give you a break. He's jealous of your cooking prowess. Yeah, I've said many times. You should see the posts he puts on Instagram. It literally looks like one of those high-end Michelin star restaurants that he cooks up, man. It's pretty crazy. Vice chat. Get some smugglers to meet up. Might buy a Labubu or two or a Tijuana Bible. Yeah. So anyways, everybody, I think this is a get Matt Kennedy on for another couple hours. Now, this is perfect. And actually, ultimately ended up being almost 3 hours anyways. Yeah, 2 hours, 38 minutes and counting, you know. So no, I think I'll leave you here with, again, just to sort of cap off tonight's theme. I guess I just want to say this because, again, I'm not only gonna have to ship some delayed packages soon, but I have to drop some art. I was gonna drop it last week, and then I decided not to because of the uncertainty, you know. So I got to drop some more art. The last couple of issues of the Justice League, the Atoms, which I told you guys about, that has some cool villain pages, the Legion of Doom. And so then I'll make some sales of those pages, and I'll have to ship those. So I just have to figure out how this whole Zonos thing, tariff thing works. Because very soon I'll have to also drop the Batman Second Night art. Yeah, and yeah. So I don't know. So many things are up in the air right now. I don't be surprised if I send out a message that says, like, you know, if you're suddenly asked for tariffs on your end, it's your problem. I don't know. Reach out to me or something, whatever. But like, the risk is on you, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know what to do. There's so many things, like I said, up in the air. I just don't know how to handle so many of these things. And again, still haven't even figured out how to do the shipments. So whatever, we'll see, I guess, when it comes to it. But if some craziness happens in the near future from me with packages that you guys may be buying from me, don't be shocked if the craziness happens. I'm going to try my best to make things as easy as possible for everybody. But we'll see. There's nothing I can really, I'm not in control of any of this nonsense going on, right? So, it's going to be over. It's going to be over at any minute now, Alberto. So too late for that. Although I guess I do have. No, you're right, because on not live, but on Rewind I will have football. Yes. And the tariffs partial refund if they don't surface. Add the tariffs partial refund if they don't surface. No, I can't add the tariffs. I told you it doesn't work that way. Not in this business, man. In the hobby business. You cannot, in the hobby one of a kind business, right? In mass market product businesses, sure. If you're buying Labubus and there's an infinite number available, everybody who sells them is jacking up their prices to cover for the tariffs, right? So you can afford to do it and not feel guilty, towards your customers, because everybody is doing it, right? People have a choice. They can buy the Labubus from any number of different dealers who have them, right? And so the collectors who collect them just think they're pissed. Yeah, they're pissed because the price is jacked up 35% or whatever percent, right? They're pissed, but they're not going to get pissed at any single seller, right? The one that they're used to buying from. They're going to see that every dealer did the same thing, and they're just going to be pissed in general, but not personally at the one guy. But in the one-of-a-kind original art market like me, I can't just jack everything up 35%, because the art that they want to buy from me, they can't buy from anywhere else. And they're just going to get pissed at me, and they're just, instead of buying it, they're just going to say, well, fuck that. I'm just going to take my money and buy one-of-a-kind original comic art elsewhere, So it's a non-issue, my friend. Like I told you last week, it's never going to happen. I'm not adding anything. I'm also not going to eat it, but if they start forcing us to do the tariff thing with original art, I'm probably going to be out of business. I don't know. I knock on wood, and hope that they don't, because if they do, I'll be screaming like crazy, right? So that's it. So we'll see what happens, everybody. And let me see, last couple of Art for Art's Sake, Money for God's Sake by 10cc. Nice. Just don't ship any future orders from me. Just pick up when I head there. Yeah, I wish it'd be that easy for the other 98% of Americans who normally buy from me, Sure, let them all come in person, They want you to swallow. Yes, they want me to swallow, Marcus. Oh boy. Exactly. That's what I think. Bill would want to rep Perkins. I bet a lot of people would be happy too. But anyways, everybody, let me close this out now. Thank you again for listening to me on this. I know it's not the most exciting of topics, but I did want to kind of touch on it because it is happening now, and I kind of wanted everybody to kind of have a good idea of what they might be able to expect soon. And like I said, to reiterate, I think, again, anything can change at any moment, but I think so far it sounds like art will be shipped to you. Nobody will be paying tariffs. The question is, will the packages have these super high valuations on them that will be subject to potential theft? Very scary. So I don't know what's going to happen with all that. But good night, Alberto. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for being here as always. And fun as always with you. You guys, thank God for you guys. You guys made it fun because again, tariffs, not a fun topic. So I appreciate you guys coming in anyways and hanging out for the duration, regardless. No problem swallowing. Based on the little I heard, I think I need to listen to this on rewind. You should, Rich. You should, Eric, because I really don't want to have to start talking about this crap on Saturday. So it would be a good thing. Cheers, Lone Ranger. Appreciate it. Have a good one. And good hanging with you too, Lee. Thank you so much. Talk to you Thursday. And yeah, I hope we can talk Thursday since it's my last day in town before the weekend, before I leave for the weekend, you know. Yeah, be good, Kavi. Have a good week. Talk to you in a few days. Hey, thank you, Peter. Thank you for being here for it. I know not many people were too happy to know what the topic was about tonight. Good night, Rickster. I appreciate it. I will leave you guys out with the thumbnail for next week. And hopefully Kavi joins me. And if any other ones, any else of you who want to pop in, you can join us for sure. Here it is. Next week, Comic Art Show and Tell number 79. It will be the usual assortment of great art at from that weekend's signature heritage auction. So yeah, come on by and we'll talk about it. And as I said, it is a live studio situation. Okay, so that means any of you can come and hang with us inside the studio. And yeah, it should be fun. So good night to all of you. Good night, CJ. Thank you very much, Tom. Go Blue, everybody. And yeah, don't forget Nikki B on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And that's it. And then come back here, please, next Sunday. Hopefully I'm back from the Toronto area on time for next week's show. You're awful, Marcus. You're awful. It is indeed Lone Ranger Swamp Thing 4 art. I don't own it. That will be auctioning next weekend, and that's what we'll be talking about. So thank you again, everybody. We'll catch you here next Sunday. Like I said, hopefully if I'm back on time, which I usually am. Yeah, we'll have a good time together talking about everything that happened during this auction. All right. That's it, everybody. Have a good one, Lone Ranger. Everybody have a great week. And yes, as I always say, everybody, go Blue.